and we're joined with Dan Mellis with Nexa Mortgage. He's out of Renton, and he will answer all your questions regarding loans and lending.
Wait a minute, that wasn't part of the bargain, Kat. You surprised me with that one.
You don't want to do that, huh, Dan? You don't want to answer?
No, I love talking mortgages. I love talking about it. We'll have a good time.
How are the interest rates today, Dan?
Better than they were yesterday. They're getting down there. Yeah, they truly are. I mean,
are they under 7 yet?
They're right in that, just maybe a smidge. Yeah, maybe a little bit below. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, just a bit below. Depends on the loan scenario and everything, but yeah, I mean they've broken 7, I'd say, and the thing is, it's getting very interesting because starting about a week and a half ago, you started to see these really pretty major downward revisions in some of the economic data that came out. For example, on May 24th, durable goods came out, got revised lower. It's a big revision, by the way. Went from 2.6% down to 0.8% on the revision. That's a big number coming down, right? You had the second quarter GDP that got revised on May 30th from 1.6% to 1.3%. And it just seems that's a pretty big revision. That was on the second take of quarter one. And what that tells you, when quarter one originally came out, just because of when it comes out, they pretty much had figured out what January and February were, but there's a little bit of question mark for March data because it's still kind of early, right? And then they do the revisions, and they hammer out March data, and so most of that 0.3% weakness that came out in GDP was because we had a weak March. That's the only explanation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's happening is you had a weak March. You've had weak JOLTS numbers, for example, really weak JOLTS numbers, right? You had weakness in today's economic numbers that came out. Trying to remember, it's ISM maybe. I'll double check. Anyway, you had durable goods weakness. You had Q1 weakness. You're starting to see the blocks, the fundamentals that are lining up with what's going on in the market, and it's getting reflected in the market. And here, I'll just do a really quick screen share. And you can see that in the last 5 days, you go back to May 30th, basically, we had a peak this is a chart of the 10-year Treasury index. And you can see that we peaked at 4.63%. Okay. I think it was 4.632%. And what we've seen since then is over a 30 basis point decline in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. That's a big decline. I mean, we had some, and it's broken through some important technical support numbers, like the 200-day moving average is a big deal here the last 2 days. It went through that. Basically, the markets are confirming that the weakness that we're seeing, the lower economic revisions that are coming out, it all comes into one. It jibes. Everything is sort of jibing right now. Yeah. And so if you see the employment data come in weak on Friday, and that's going to be a really, really big report, what we're going to end up seeing, I think, is a pretty sharp move lower in rates quickly. Right, not just grinding.
That's exactly what I need. I've got a listing coming on the market tomorrow, Dan. I need rates to come down.
I think you might just get your wish. We'll see. We'll see about what the employment report says on Friday, but it's going to be a very interesting day to watch, more so than the average day. So, anyway, there you go. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about my listing that closed today.
Let's talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, so
because I had a hand in that. I brought good luck on that closing.
Yeah, you did have a hand in that one. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So Autumn Meadows, my Rambler that I had listed in Autumn Meadows, it was almost like 1,700 square feet. I think it was 1,763 square feet, something like that. And in Autumn Meadows, a nicer quality home, really needed new carpet, but I had them cleaned. and that seemed to do a pretty good job. And then I had it staged, cleaned the windows, mulched the gardens, had the exterior. The sellers agreed to have the exterior painted, and inside of the home clean. And so we did all those things, and we also had an inspection done, and we had quite a few groups through 2 weeks ago on the weekend.
I remember that. Yes.
50 groups through over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Dan actually came up and helped me door knock on Friday on that one. And we probably hit, I don't know, 45, 50 homes. Yep. Put a flyer and an invitation to the neighbors only broken house. Neighbors only open house for Friday from 4:30 to 5:30. And then we went live to the public from 5:30 to 6:30 for an open. But we ended up getting about 50 groups through that weekend, had about 6 or 7 requests for the inspection report, and ended up with 2 offers on our offer review date on Tuesday. The offer number 1 escalated to $925, but you need another offer to have that go that high, right? So we ended up with a second offer that escalated to $830. So we ended up at $831. So 2-week close, cash, beautiful thing, no contingencies. So we closed on that one today.
Well, congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah, so we got $31,000 over asking price, which was my goal of doing a few extra things for that particular listing that I would normally offer to do. I would ask the seller to do them, but I kind of participated a little bit just because it was for the mom, and the kids didn't want to spend the money and or do the things. They just were burned out. They have their own lives, and dealing with getting that house sold was not high on their priority list. But it needed to happen. So I did help out a little more than I normally do, but to a good result, right? So
you sort of put on your Superman cape to.
I did put on. I actually waved my magic wand on this one, and boy, did it work! So I'm very happy with how that went. You know, some homes are sitting on the market. We only had 40% getting under contract this last 7 days. Right. So, or the last 7-day data that I pulled on Sunday morning. So, you know, for us to be one of those, I'm proud, very proud of myself as a realtor, and proud of how I handled that listing and given it a little extra nudge. I absolutely wanted it to be staged. I wanted the carpets clean, and so I made it happen.
and you did. You even
your windows, and I mulched the gardens. I lost a little weight, and we got over full price for it. I'm very happy about that.
Well, I've got memories of that day. Let me show you my memories. Well, let's see.
Oh no.
Oh, it's not showing up. Oh, I'm very sad. Anyway, what I'm showing to the camera that Kat can't see are my steps. My steps for that day.
Dan got his steps in that day.
I got my steps in that day.
Walking that neighborhood.
8,616 steps. You know how many steps I've got in today so far, Kat?
15.
Close. 217. 8,616 when we walked the neighborhood. 217 steps done today.
See, I think you should come up and do it again with me on Friday.
My doctor may require me to pretty soon.
You could get your steps in on Friday again this week.
Yes.
Because I'm going to hit up Paradise Lake Estates. I'm going to walk in the neighborhood probably around noon and hitting people up to come to my neighbors only open house on Friday. Probably get some balloons to tie on the signs and stuff. We'll make it a little party.
And where's that going to be again?
It's going to be Paradise Lake Estates, where my new listing is going to be.
Where's that?
It's Woodinville.
Oh, Woodinville. Oh,
we got a great listing coming up in Woodinville.
Okay.
Can't really talk too much about it. I can tell you guys what we did. We did have an inspection, a pre-inspection. So we'll have that to give out to buyers, and sellers did do some repairs, which is wonderful. And we sent the inspector back out there to take a look and modify his report. So, you know, this particular inspector charged $510, I believe it was, for that particular inspection. I can't, again, talk too much about the property because I'll get in trouble. But
when does the listing?
What's that?
When does the listing come out?
It comes on tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Congratulations. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. But I was just going to talk about the prep for this one. So they, the kids were living there. The kids moved out over Memorial Day weekend, and they had the place professionally cleaned. I believe they used Magic Hands, my cleaners that I have cleaned my own house. I've used them on a lot of listings as well, and they seem to do a really nice job. So thank you, Wagner. Appreciate you. And then so we had it cleaned. I think they spruced up the yard a little bit themselves, planted some lavender in the front and some flowers, hydrangeas, and some little geraniums in the flower boxes and stuff, and add a little bark. Since then, we've had a windstorm, and all their hard work is not for naught, but it's definitely, there's a lot of branches everywhere on the roofs, everywhere. So that's have to come off before tomorrow, or before we go live tomorrow. So I think my client's going to go over there and blow off the roofs. So, because there's two good sized roofs on this one.
Well, I'm glad you don't have to climb up on a ladder and go up on the roof to take down all the branches.
No, I wouldn't do that. But we had it staged. Right.
Oh, okay.
We also had the windows cleaned inside and out. I believe Tim did that. I believe he cleaned the roofs as well. And did some, I don't know if he did some touch-up painting, but I believe they did some touch-up painting.
One nice thing about doing these live streams with you, Kat?
What's
I gotta tell you. It's that over the course of, we're pretty darn close to our 1-year anniversary, right? We're doing these live streams together, right?
That's right.
Started last June. And when you mention these things, well, they cleaned up the yard, and they did the staging, and they had the house cleaned and the windows done. Every time you're mentioning one of these things, I swear to God, a little checkbox goes off in my head. It's like number 4 on Kat's list, number 8 on Kat's list. Check, 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 check. And then
that's 12 steps to getting your home prepared.
Kat's 12 steps for getting your home prepared. They did.
Now there's a 13th one, and you have to call me to get that 13th, because it's really important.
That number 13, the lucky number 13. Yes.
Yeah.
But the little thing like the
silence.
Inspection.
You can't mention number 13 on social media.
Yes. You did mention it on social media?
Said that.
You did? Oh.
No, I mean, I said, no, we can't mention.
You can't mention it. Yeah,
no, we're not supposed to. So you guys have to call me.
That's
right.
And
it's really important. It's a huge part of putting your house on the market. It's a huge part. So do give me a call if you have any questions about the different steps to put your house on the market. I can always send you my 12-step guide, which includes that 13th step. Actually, it tells you to call me. Because again, I can't put it in writing.
But there is an
I can't put it on the air, and I can't put it in writing. What the hell is this? I feel like we're,
But there is an actual thing in there, like the rest of the things, to do this, do that, do blah 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 blah. We have the 12 things laid out. The 13th we just can't talk about. Yeah. Unless it's person to person. Yeah. But it's a legitimate thing.
It is, yes, and it's a huge impetus to get your house sold. It's a huge conversation piece to have with your client before you put your house on the market. So it's vital, actually. So it's all.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just saying that it is one of the things I've noticed in the last year that we've been doing this together, that seeing you implement these things and how well they really do work, point by point by point by point. There's a logic to it that ends up with higher prices for your clients and to get the houses sold quicker. I mean, that's my observation.
Yep. And I have a formula, and I use it, and I'm pretty adamant that all my clients, do follow essentially the same. There are times, of course, where there's special circumstances. Something more along the lines of, I've got some weird dots on my face here. I'm trying to get rid of them with my lights. There's some circumstances where sometimes I don't actually have to have everybody do every single thing. In an estate sale situation, a lot of times you're selling that property more as is. I still think you should do some basic things. And when I've had estate sales, I've actually had the sellers paint the interior, just clean it up. You don't have to replace carpet, but we can stage it, right? If you paint it or the interior is clean, then we can still stage it and give a buyer an idea of how they can utilize the space and make it feel clean. You just don't want it to be dirty when it goes on the market, because then you're going to really get killed price wise. So, and you want to doll up the landscaping and stuff, even when it's an estate sale. But there are certain exceptions to the rule of my 12 steps.
Well, I got to say, tip of the cap too, you had an estate sale property that a lot of times might be a little bit tougher as far as getting over ask. You got way over ask. You got it sold for cash in what, 12 days, something like that?
5 days. 5 days, and it closed in 14 days. Yeah, it closed in
That's
2
what I
weeks.
meant, the whole thing. Soup
Yeah.
to nuts.
Well,
Yeah.
and from the beginning, so I found out I was going to list that 8 days before it went on the market. So I knew about it well in advance, but but they called me up and said, okay, we were ready to go. We're not going to do anything else. And so it wasn't an estate sale. The mom is still alive, but it was treated like an estate sale. Right. And so I had to make some decisions on my own to decide how much more I was going to level it up, by me investing. So normally I don't do that, but this was not for the people that hired me. It was for their mom. And so I wanted her to not wind up with $80,000 less, which I think what would have happened had I left it in the condition that they left it to me in, to put on the market. And so the carpets hadn't been cleaned and the gardens hadn't been mulched. The windows hadn't been washed on the outside, and they desperately needed it. And it for sure deserved staging. We've got all those other things done, and I'm like, I cannot not stage this. I have to stage this. We're going to get more than one offer on this. It's a Rambler, and it's going to show amazing. And it did. Yeah. I had so much activity on that one. I would have thought we would have had more offers, but I think it's just that interest rates ticked up a tad.
Yeah. Well, and they painted it right before they sold it, painted it blue.
They painted the exterior, and if they had not painted the exterior, I would not have done the other things. Right. So that exterior paint made all the difference. It really did, because all of a sudden now the exterior doesn't need anything, right? The roof is got still 15 years left on it. And so it really was a nice condition. The home itself was a beautiful floor plan, lovely floor plan with vaulted ceilings and skylights and wood wrapped windows. But that one closed for $31,000 over asking price today for $831,000. And so congratulations, off the market 2 weeks ago on Tuesday. So and so we've got a really nice couple moving in. I've met the neighbor over there. And lovely people. I love that neighborhood. Autumn Meadows is adorable. It's got a tennis court, a private tennis court for the neighbors there, and a park area. So it's and it's just, they got sidewalks on both sides of the street. The streets are wide. It's flat over there, so you can walk to your heart's content or bike or whatever it is you want to do. So it's a neat neighborhood. Like it a lot. Cool. So anyway, so there's that, and then we should probably jump into some stats. Yeah, let's do that, because we're seeing some interesting stuff happening right now. Yeah, and we're a little short on time today. Start with King? Let's start with King County. Okay. So King County, 1.1 month supply of inventory, and that has ticked up. So 40% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between May 19th and May 25th. Did you hear that? 40%. Yes, I heard that. Yeah, that's down from like 72% like 6 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, it's down. Yeah, we're down, way down. So 58% of sellers in King County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between May 5th and May 18th. And in stark contrast, 59% of sellers in King County set offer review dates. Too high, guys. So what are they doing? Well, only 40% are getting under contract within the first 7 days. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, why you got 20%? We're 20% too heavy on offer review dates. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Yeah. So that's a disparity that we had a couple weeks ago. It got a little better last week, I think, because of the holiday weekend. And then this week we're back up again. So sellers are still seeing stars in their eyes and not realizing that the market has softened. However, with interest rates coming back down, we actually may see that market pick back up again in the coming weeks.
I think you will.
And I'm anticipating that because I have another listing coming on tomorrow in Woodinville. That's all I could say because we can't advertise it.
The mystery listing.
Just a new listing, that's all.
The mystery listing.
So I have some more interesting data for you guys for the King County market. There are 43% more new listings this May than there were last May in 2023. That's 43% more new listings this year than last year, May over May. So that's a heck of a lot more inventory, right? Putting some downward pressure on the market. So get this, because you know how I like to report on January to June data. Well, in this particular case, what I did was I took December solds and I said, what's the average, price per square foot on December solds? And then let's take May solds and see what's the average price per square foot on May solds. King County is up 25%, guys, since December, the end of December. Whoa. And I'm not joking. So
that's you guys, on a price per square foot basis.
Price per square foot, so it takes into account a lot of the variables, right?
Everything that's basically apples to apples, essentially.
Yeah, it's about as close as you can get, right? And we're not including new construction or condos or attached homes or townhomes, so it should be fairly accurate. 25%. Wow. That's a huge number. So when you're thinking about buying a house in January, you can even overpay a tad, right? Because if you wait till June, you're probably 25% over where you would have been in late December buying a home. And now there's not as many choices, but if you could time that market, you could save you can get yourself some pretty instant equity there. And we've been doing this year over year. We've had these wild swings almost every spring, for the past 4 or 5 years.
Right.
The average in King County is 12.7% swing from January solds to June solds or May solds. So it's interesting to follow that data. Very interesting. But 25% is a huge swing. That's a couple $100,000 in equity. It's $250,000 in equity on $1 million home. And the average sales price in King County right now is like 1.2. So your 25% is almost 300,000 difference.
That's a big number.
You guys got anything, but it's a true story, man. You got to be a stats girl to understand how this works.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Anyway, so
we'll move to snow?
Yeah, I think we move on to Snohomish. So 41% of sellers in Snohomish County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between May 19th and May 25th. They're also down, right? So King County 40, Snohomish 41. So, and that data is 2 weeks ago. This is, let's see, when did I have mine go on the market?
Right about that time.
Right about that time. Yeah. So I do feel, I consider myself lucky to have gotten 2 offers that week.
Could have been worse.
So 51, 57. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted your deal for the videos. But I was going to say, you were mentioning at the time you wanted to get it on the market before Memorial Day weekend.
That's right. So that was critical.
That was really important. Yeah.
I did not want it on the market over Memorial Day weekend. And that's why we listed. That's why I pushed listing it within the 8 days instead of giving myself another week. So that was really, that's a challenge to get a listing on the market that quick.
Yeah. So. Well, and it turned out to be absolutely a big deal. And it probably made the sellers some extra money, I would guess. I would guess.
Yeah, had we waited, we might not have gotten more than 1 offer. It's hard to say. Memorial Day was a little bit slower.
Yeah.
As evidenced by this data.
So sorry I interrupted. I'll let you get back to Snohomish County stats. Okay.
No, you're okay. 57% of sellers in Snohomish County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed between May 5th and May 18th. Or no, did I say that right? Yeah, May 18th. That's right. Catching myself here. So 51% of sellers in Snohomish County set offer review dates. Snohomish County has gone up. They've had 19% in appreciation since the end of December. So we've had 19% appreciation January, February, March, April, May. Again, wow. With that huge increase in the spring, you know, I like people to understand that the market is cycles and that you can pay less for a house if you buy it earlier in the spring than later in the spring, unless you're winding up in a bidding war that's taking you 20% over, right?
Right.
You know, in January, February. So if that's happening, then you maybe just be paying essentially retail by June. But even in June, we're still going to see some competition and some pricing over asking price.
I got to tell you, if we were in the car business, June prices would be considered second sticker, not just regular retail. They would be fully second sticker. But that's okay. Right.
So, you know, the value, you guys, of waiting to go on the market until April or May is huge. So I advised several of my sellers this year that that's what they should do. And I will guarantee you that the one I just got sold today, we got at least $100,000 more than we would have had we listed in January. So, you know, you really should plan for this stuff if you can. If you can afford to wait a couple months and maybe time the market a tad, April, May is your slot. I don't really love May. I think May gets a little tougher, but April, that third week in April is usually ideal. And if I can do it, I like to time the market and try to get at least some of my listings on that week, because you've already got the appreciation for the spring almost all baked in.
Right.
So if you wait till June, you might not get multiple offers because there's going to be so much competition. The beauty about April is not everybody is listed yet. In May, it's a heavy listing month in May. April, not so much. So you can beat that curve if you go on the market in late April. So not that you can't go on in May. You just need to avoid the holiday weekends, and there's several.
Right.
So, but yeah, so Snohomish County, so this is a wild number. So there are 57% more new listings this May than there were last May. 57%.
Wow.
That's a huge number.
That's a huge number.
So, and Snohomish County is up to 1 month supply of inventory.
Well,
so
where did that bottom? Was it 0.6 or 0.7? I can't remember. Somewhere there.
Oh, I think they were. I think they got down to 0.5 at a certain point early in the spring. Wow.
Okay.
It was crazy. Yeah, January, February, very, very tight market in Snohomish County. Yeah, I was looking back through the data yesterday, and it was I was like, dang. So 1 month supply of inventory is about as high as we've seen in Snohomish County this year. So it is creeping up. And you know, the funny thing is that about Snohomish County is we had over 200 listings come on the market. Let's see, we had 218 listings come on the market last week. So this is 0 to 7 days, the last 7 days. We only had 104 go pending.
Oh, so we're adding to inventory now.
So we're really, really packing on the inventory.
Geez, so, you know, I hate to say that, but some folks might want to rethink about this 51% sellers setting the offer review dates in that situation.
51% of sellers in Snohomish County set offer review dates last week, which is a big number compared to how many are going off the market within the first week. So you do have some sellers missing their offer review dates. And so at a certain point, you run the risk of buyers not making an offer on your home if you have set an offer review date, if you've got half the other sellers that are not setting offer review dates, because that buyer can go in there and just make an offer straight up to that seller and maybe not even have to compete, right? Because they're reviewing offers upon receipt. So this is a fine line right now. We are going to set an offer review date for my listing tomorrow because it is the shiny object. But I am very nervous about it. Not 100% positive we're going to get that multiple offers. But my client really wants to do it. And the market is still strong enough where I think we can do it. And we're at a price point where there's a really good chance that we'll sell in the first week. a really good chance. So I think it's worth taking the risk. And if we don't sell that first week, we're definitely selling, you know, immediately after. You know, the only thing that would have chased somebody off would have been the offer review, because it's a beautiful property in so many ways. It's probably going to be sold by the time I do my next live, darn it. Pierce County.
Pierce County. Oh, let's go to Pierce County. Holy cow.
Yeah. 40% of sellers in Pierce County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between May 19th and May 25th. So Pierce County seems to be less affected by this interest rate thing. I can't figure out why that is. 49% of sellers in Pierce County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between May 5th and May 18th. 31% of sellers set offer review dates. They have Pierce County has 20% more listings this May than they did last May. So not a huge disparity compared to some of the other bigger counties.
Right.
Or not bigger counties, but just some of the other counties.
Bigger counties, yeah.
Let's see, we've got, so Pierce County has had 10% increase in appreciation since the December sold data. So they've seen 10% appreciation so far this year.
Good.
It's pretty good. And 1.1 month supply of inventory in Pierce County.
You know, just by looking at this set of stats for Pierce County, it looks more like it should, like their offer review dates ratioed offer review dates to say the number of homes pending in the first 7 days. That seems to be a lot more in line with, let's just say, King County right now.
Yeah. In Pierce County, to be fair, they're doing quite well. And I did want to mention Pierce County, again, with how many new listings came on the market versus how many sold. Get this. I think there may be some correlation between too many offer review days and just buyers waiting, right? Because this is what happened in Pierce County. They had 219 listings that came on the market last week. So Snohomish had 218. Pierce had 219. Pierce County had 195 go under contract, right?
Yeah.
Snohomish only had 104. So in Snohomish County, you know, there's quite a few more sellers setting offer review dates than in Pierce County. 20% more sellers are setting offer review dates. And so you got to wonder if that's making some sellers in Snohomish County miss their offer review date.
You have to think maybe a little bit in some cases.
Sorry, there's a tractor going by.
Yes, I saw that in the background.
I live in the country. So, should we do Mason? Mason County is a hot little market right now.
Honestly, I don't have the stats for Mason.
Oh, I do.
Okay, so, let's do Mason here. Hang on.
Yeah. So Mason County, 44%. Well, did I say that right? Yeah. Wow, that's high. That's a big number for Mason. So Mason County, 44% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between May 19th and May 25th. 45% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between May 5th and May 18th. 6% of sellers set offer review dates. Let's see. They've had a 4%, Mason County's had a 4% average price per square foot increase since the December sold data so far this year. And they have 1.5 months supply of inventory in Mason County. So Mason County has a market that looks a lot like our local market right now, which is kind of amazing. You know, I think, you know, the weather has improved, and I think that does make a difference in the more outlying counties. I think that the market does pick up in the summer, and I think we're seeing that happen. I love that.
Yeah.
So Skagit County, 31% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between May 19th and May 25th. And 40% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between May 5th and May 18th. 29% of sellers set offer review dates. There is 38% more new listings on the market this May as compared to May 2023 in Skagit County. 1.7 months supply of inventory. And the average sales price, price per square foot has gone up 8% since the December sold data to now in Skagit County. Interesting, right?
Better than going down.
Better than going down. And then, so now we've got Kitsap County.
Kitsap, yes. Out on the peninsula.
Out on the peninsula where my daughter lives. 37% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between May 19th and May 25th.
Is there an asterisk next to that stat? It says all 37% represented by Michelle Cook.
I know. My daughter's on fire over there. She's a Windermere agent with Kingston, and I think she's selling all the houses over there. I'm not sure, but she has no time to even talk to her mama anymore. What's going on there?
But I digress. Go ahead, Kat.
I call her Little Darling. Where are you, Little Darling? All right. So 60% of sellers got under contract within the first 2 weeks on the market if they listed their home between May 5th and May 18th, and that's a big number. 60% for Kitsap County.
That is a big number. Yeah.
2 weeks ago. And we've got 42% of sellers set offer review dates. It's okay. It's a little heavy.
What was that percentage again on offer review dates?
42% set offer review dates in Kitsap County.
And how many are getting done in the first 7 days?
37. So a little too overzealous. Again, you guys, offer review dates should be for those properties that are priced very well and that are 100% ready for the market. And they've got that it factor that says, I'm going to get sold in the first 7 days because I'm going to meet so many buyers' criterias that it's a no-brainer, right? So there's certain homes like Ramblers, a lot of times fit that criteria if they've got 2 bathrooms, one off the primary and a main bath. They've got an attached 2-car garage. They've done some updating on the inside, or the agent has prettied everything up nicely, staged it, and it doesn't need any exterior maintenance.
Maybe put some beauty bark down, stuff like that.
Beauty bark down, wear off a few pounds. Yeah.
Pulled out the vacuum cleaner, got the whole inside vacuumed up, cleaned up, looking good.
God, I can't. Yeah. Direct carpet, amazing. They stretched that carpet too. My listing that just sold today.
They did a great job.
Amazing. They got the stains out. They patched it. I got to tell you, direct carpet, killing it out there, doing a great job. Okay. Kitsap County has 23% more new listings in May this year as opposed to May last year. And their average sales price has gone up 9% based on average price per square foot since the December sold data, right? Compared to the May sold data this year.
Right.
So 9%. And 1.1 month supply of inventory in Kitsap County.
That's still pretty tight.
Oh, you know what? I got to go.
Well,
5:34. Shit. Sorry, guys. I've got to fly.
And that ends our Cat and Dan show for June.
That was it for the Cat and Dan show today. Thanks
Time to go. All right, Cat. Take care.
Well, I guess I'm gonna break my stuff down when I get home because I gotta fly out of here.
I'm ending the stream now. Bye bye.
Okay, I'm ending too. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.